Welcome to The Savory Scoop. This is a safe space where we have conscious conversations focused on graceful living for women. And today's topic is all about friendships.
Yes.
So how has friendships evolved for you, Debbie?
Well, my focus has changed so much, and my growth in the past, 10 years, that I've really grown apart from so many friendships that I had. And I find myself in a different space where I'm doing different things. My focus isn't on, going out and getting drunk or going to clubs or meeting people out for dinner to have a bunch of drinks and then go out afterwards. It's more about being in my purpose, having the best relationship with myself, aging with ease and grace, having a wonderful relationship with my family members. And I am now attracting more women and people like myself. And it's very apparent when we meet each other. So when I meet somebody who I have that connection with and I'm in alignment with, it's a very sacred thing.
Yes.
I know that now I'm developing lifelong relationships with people who I'm in alignment with. And, there are those people that'll come into your life, and there's that saying, and I'm probably going to butcher it because I'm not really great at sayings, but it's like, for a season, a reason, a season, or a lifetime. My husband says that all the time, that people will come into your life. And it's true. There are those people that have come into my life for a reason and have taught me something, and then, I never talk to them again. Or there are those childhood friends that we've just grown apart, and there's still that love, and, I don't dislike them. I still love them. We just are not in alignment anymore. We just don't have the same kind of lifestyle. Yes. It's really been a lifestyle change for me. When I stopped drinking, I opened my business. I started to do that deep growth and work on myself. Then I started to drift apart from other people in my life that were living a different lifestyle.
So true. And I feel the same way about friendships. And, you were talking about childhood friendships, like the love and the affection is still in your heart for them. But, and what binds you for life is probably those memories, right, from your childhood. And you'll always be there for those people, but doesn't necessarily mean that you are the same people that you were as kids.
Yeah.
So there was a time I used to look at someone who had kept their friendships from since they were in elementary school, and they're still like very close. And I used to look at them and think that, oh, those are the good ones, right? Like the ones who never let go of any friendships must mean that they are really good people.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that definition came from. Like, I really don't know. I don't know if it came from culture, mainstream media, or
maybe
parents.
It came from because, are you like that?
I used to believe that defined a person's character. If
Okay.
they could keep friendships alive for the rest of your life, that defined who you were. That meant you were loyal. That meant that you're a great person. That's why the friend still wants to be with you. Probably many factors kind of put, I have no idea where that came from. There's so much that our conditioning, sometimes you can't even trace it back.
Exactly.
It's
so true.
Something you picked up, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I started to, and I used to believe that if someone had, a big group of friend circle, that meant also defined your character. That means you're a great person and everybody wants to be around you. And then obviously I got into yoga and Buddhist teachings, and I started to change. It's not like you are trying to change. Initially, yes, you're sitting in meditation because that's what they told you to do. Okay, meditate this way. The first time you go to a meditation center, you do that enough, and then you learn these teachings. You start to gradually lose interest in things that once defined your life.
Yeah.
Right? There was a time I didn't even want to go shopping. Like there were months would go by where I'm just like, I don't feel like going shopping. And, there were friends that I went shopping with,
Yeah.
and that's what we did for
Right.
fun. And, and then you start to notice like it just feels like work.
Yeah.
Having to go. And those are just like seasons, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
define me as a good person or my friend as a good person. It just means that it was just a season I was going through because of the teachings and the environment I was in. That was not my priority at the time, right?
Yeah.
So I went through that, and I noticed I would say no, I just don't feel like going, or I would wanting to please that the friendships. I would just end up doing it, and then I come back feeling drained.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't enjoy it, so it didn't serve me or the other people, right? Like the friends.
Yeah.
So over time, and then that shifted, and I noticed like that shift over, and then that shifted to a place where I'm like, okay, now I don't really necessarily enjoy shopping, to be honest. I'm like, I do like to find things that fit me well, but I don't like the process of it because it's, trying it on, taking it off, the crowd, and I don't enjoy it like I used to in my 20s.
Yeah.
But I can now go and appreciate the time with a friend who wants to do that. But I don't like to do it often.
Yeah.
I would go, it would be a planned event where I'm like, okay, we're going to go. It won't be like on a Friday night, hey, you want to go do this?
Exactly.
It would be something planned. I'm like, okay, that person enjoys it. Let me just be there to spend time with that person, right? So that evolved into, it was very seasonal for me. But all that being said, I continuously say no these days.
Setting boundaries is very important.
Right. Like if I get a call saying, hey, Friday night, we're meeting here. And for me, resistance training has become really important. And for me, it's like, I prefer to do that over a lot of things on a Friday evening because I feel good.
Yeah.
Right? After I work Monday through Friday, and after Friday working, unless it's something I really want to do in the evening, something I'm looking forward to, then of course I'll fit the resistance training in during my lunch break.
If it's a planned event.
But if it's not something that is going to energize me, I just say no.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, wow, that's boring. But to me, that's not boring.
It's what's in alignment with you and what
Yes.
feeds your soul.
Yes.
And not people pleasing, like you said.
Yes.
I hear people all of the time in large groups who are more of that kind of person because we're all so different. I've never been the type of person who hangs out in like large groups of people because I can and always have been more of an observer and I'm an introverted extrovert. I was more so of an introvert when I was younger until I got really comfortable with who I was and in my skin and unapologetically myself, which is a whole other topic. But I hear people say all the time, they're like you said, oh, we're going to go do this because this one wants to do that. And if we don't do that, then she's going to be upset. But they're not really doing it because they want to do it,
And I had to tell myself, like, it's okay to say no. What if I were to invite everyone to a yoga retreat?
Yeah.
Right? And they have no interest. Why would I do that to them, right? I can invite, but knowing that, I'm just saying, like, in general, if there are friends who are not interested in that, it's okay. I want,
of course,
the friends to have the freedom to say, it's not my thing. You guys have a great time, but I'm always there for you. I'm always rooting for you.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And, and friendships, like now I see it more as a place where we are growing, like we're learning to grow. Right? So, for example, like I went through my divorce, I had, I think we shared this before, and I was single, and there'd be like the week that I didn't have the boys, and like the first few weeks I'm just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, you're confused because you always had to come home and do something for the kids. And then I started to make friends who, were also single and going through divorce, and we kind of like held space for each other. But with that also came like, oh, let's go out, let's drink, have, a couple glass of wine, let's go dancing.
Yeah.
So, and I enjoyed it at that time. It was fun to bond that way. And now I don't have that interest. Like, I don't want to go out. I love dancing. I took salsa lessons.
Me too. I just dance around the house all the time.
Right. Which is different, right? And drinking, like, I really don't enjoy. Like, occasionally I'll have a glass of wine, but drinking is not something I really like to do. So, so having to say no is, I had to tell myself that it's okay to know what you want, and if it's real, the friendships are real, they'll always be there,
and they'll always understand and not try to make you feel guilty, or or shame you, or try to make you feel bad. Those are the people that I don't enjoy having in my life. I prefer to surround myself with people in symbiotic relationships where we're both giving to the relationship. We're both learning from each other and building each other up. And we may be different, but we both have things to contribute to the relationship, which I think is so important. Has to be. I also prefer to surround myself with people who uplift me, who help me to reach my goals, who, see my strengths and encourage me to reach for the stars and to expand. Rather than have drama in their lives, because I have had so much trauma and drama in my life, in friendships, relationships, just life in general, that I have no desire to be around any of that anymore.
Same here.
I cope differently. I have a different lifestyle so that I don't have any of that in my life.
And it's, and we can't talk about friendships without talking about, like, there's creating friendships, and then there's also that part of letting go friendships that are no longer serving you. Right? If there is a friendship that is constantly putting us in a place where we are making bad choices, whether it's with food, alcohol, drugs, whatever it may be, it's okay. It doesn't matter how long you've been friends with that person or that circle. It's okay to let go, because until we let go, how do we create space?
Absolutely. That can, that comes along so much with codependent relationships, even unhealthy, all unhealthy relationships. There can be a lot of codependency. So I really recommend exploring codependent relationships. For sure.
Absolutely. And one of the things now I am more conscious of when I am, and it's very seasonal. Now I never say that, oh, this is who I am. Right? Like, I never, because just in the last 10, 15 years, I have seen the progression, the shifts, the seasonal shifts in my own life that I never say, oh, this is how it is, and this is how it's going to be for the rest of my life.
For sure.
So for me, like, the season that I'm in right now is, when people want to go on vacation, and I'm like, I'm just not in that season, because I am very excited right now about the things that I am building with my husband. I'm very excited about this podcast that we are doing. There's other things that I enjoy doing. And for me, it's a space of creating, and that space is so joyful that I don't necessarily feel, I know that even if I, like, took a vacation, let's say to Japan or something, right? My mind is still like, but I want to get back to do this. And that's okay, because there were times where I didn't want to do this, and I just wanted to be on vacation and explore the world and enjoy. So the season that we're in, also, because it might be a season of growth. where you are doing things and trying things and exploring. And in that season, sometimes there are some friendships that won't fit like it used to, just for that
Exactly.
season.
That's
They may
right.
come back in again. And that friendship might be like when you're trying to get healthy, you are no longer interested in going out to restaurants that you once, went to, right?
Right.
It might be, you want a friend who is also into going to the gym with you, someone who wants to meet for a hike,
Yeah.
someone who is deliberately choosing a certain type of restaurants
Absolutely.
to enjoy, and because you want to enjoy food too, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you're consciously making those choices. Or someone who is doing work similar to like, yoga or doing workshops. Like I like to be, invite those kind of people into my life, like the guests that we talk about
Yeah,
bringing
for
into.
sure.
So it's a different season where you end up saying no to a lot of things because you are very intentionally living in this season right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we need
that's
all of
okay.
the seasons.
Yes.
We
Yes.
went to the mountains recently. That's my getaway. That's my travel, is every 3 months going to the mountains. I just love the energy there. I love connecting with nature. And it was fall time. So the fall season for me, I really embody the death and rebirth.
Yes.
And all of the leaves just blowing off of the trees. It was so profound, just watching the trees shed and then knowing they're going to go through that winter of that growth, that dark space of reflection, and then blossoming and blooming in the spring. All of the seasons are so important. We don't have to be, like blossoming all the time and successful. It's those downtimes and that rest that we need as well that really help us to get there. It's all so interconnected.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah.
But, like you said, I enjoy, my priorities are different. So I enjoy connecting and having conversations with you like this and other women, or going for a walk, having some tea, going and walking on the beach, watching the sunset, things that fill up and fulfill my soul.
Same here. And it's amazing, like right now, like the vacation that you described, it's not so much you have to go to an exotic country to experience that, that type of beauty, right? Like you went to the mountains here in Georgia, right?
In Georgia, North Georgia.
And that's the beauty of life. Like I feel like, when I went hiking with a couple of my friends, it was like 2 weeks ago, and this is in Tampa, but just that little break is just, and it doesn't feel like break. It just feels like part of life, right? Like that's something you enjoy doing.
It feels like you're living.
So you're living.
Yeah. I went to a concert with a girlfriend last night, and it was beautiful outside, and there was almost the full moon, and it was breezy, and just loved the music and moved with the music, and just, it was so present and beautiful.
That's exactly it. Yeah. And to be forgiving of yourself, for like, we as women, we tend to feel guilty if we're not saying yes to every, friend that is inviting us to do things. And, especially when we have families and we have demanding, jobs, businesses, it's okay to say, take care of you and say, I need to relax. I need to rest.
Yeah.
And those are things that I learned to, I don't have to, there's that, in your 20s and 30 or maybe early 30s, you have this fear of missing out.
Yeah.
Like,
I used to look at all of these women who, like, they'll go on all these big traveling excursions together, and it's like this whole group of women, or they're always going out to dinner and they're always doing these things. And I would think to myself also, I'd be like, like, I'm just like, I mean, do I want to be like that? Do I wish I did those things? Do I wish I was that kind of person? And I realized that that's just not how I am, and that's okay. Yes. And I see that in all three of my daughters. They're all completely different. And my middle one, she's like that. She'll be in a sorority. She's got the same group of friends that she's had since she was 3 years old. They're tight. They do stuff and plan stuff together all of the time. So it's really cool to watch, the differences, being able to see it as a mother through my daughters and things that I've experienced in my life and the ways that I've felt.
Absolutely. So it's what you're sharing is just knowing yourself. Like there's no, one protocol to follow when it comes to how you want to define friendship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And so for me, friendship is now like not necessarily someone I have to talk to every single day like you used to in like high school. Now it's just knowing that, hey, I can pick up, even if we haven't talked in like 2 months, I can pick up the phone and there's love and there's respect, like family.
Absolutely.
Right? There's love and respect.
Yes.
And you can always count on me. If you need something, I will be there and I can count on you. And those type of friendships, like interests will change over time, right? 20s, your interest is different, 30s, and people grow in different ways. And that's life. But there are friendships where even though you've grown completely different, there is still that love deep. It's like family. There's deep love that you can, you may not be doing things together all the time anymore because you've changed.
Right.
But you also, it's like a sister. Like, we're really different.
Yeah.
You do your thing, I'll do my thing, but we love each other.
Yeah.
So,
and you support each other and you unconditionally love each other. You're able to listen to each other. You may have opposing views, but you agree to disagree if you do, but you're able to listen and be like, oh, okay, that's how you think. Sure. I love that for you. Or I can see that for you. That might not work for me. Those are healthy relationships for sure.
Yeah. And creating more friendships, or creating that tribe of people that inspire you.
Yeah, and lift you up. Yes.
And they're not afraid to say, you got to get your
100%.
Yeah, right?
You need to get it together.
Exactly.
Like, what are you going to do about that? That doesn't seem to be working for you.
Right. And I appreciate that
Me
a
too.
lot more now. Tell me like it is.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like
exactly.
a coach.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, this has been a great topic. Anything else you want to share?
No.
Nice. Well, thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you watching this episode. If you have anything to share about friendships, please do so in the comment section.
You can subscribe to us and follow us on social media at The Savory Scoop.
And if you have any questions, recommendations, or suggestions, please email us at connect@thesavoryscoop.com.